ongoing throughout the years, we were getting more and more information about True Hope, and I wanted to give it a shot. And it's just changed my whole life. It's been wonderful.
Kelly was diagnosed with a bipolar disorder probably about 15 years ago, and at the time we had 3 little boys, and he was able to go to work, but I really don't know to this day how he managed to keep his job. But he went through a manic phase and spent a ton of money, and had a grand mal seizure, and we were really worried about his health. We didn't know what was wrong with him, and he just didn't really want to be married, and he just wanted to do his own thing and didn't want to listen to anybody. And
I guess I had depression first, really, really deep depression. So bad that I was actually got so skinny, and I just basically crawled underneath coffee tables and hid, and I was just basically just existing. Very, very depressed, very, very down. And then all of a sudden one day I just flipped and went manic, and became pretty much out of control. Spent money like a fool, spent about $110,000 in basically 2.5, 3 months on everything, everyone in my whole life.
It's been many years of up and down, trying to cope and make things work and be happy, and just trying to cope with somebody who's not well, and to be there for them when you're frustrated with them because they're not listening and they're not well and they think they're well.
We were on the brink of destruction in our marriage, and we got talking to a pastor, and he basically said, "Kelly, you have something medically wrong with you. You better go see a doctor." And my wife Debbie had been trying to tell me that for months, and I just wouldn't listen to her. I thought everybody else was crazy. And but for some reason I listened to him. We went to the doctor, and Debbie started sharing my symptoms, and the doctor basically said, wait, I'll finish the list for you. And he's named off the rest, and she said, yep, that's exactly what he has. And he said, yeah, he's a bipolar guy. So from there, he started me on lithium, and I can't remember what else. And that sort of helped, and then transitioned into Effexor. And I guess of all the drugs that I was on, for me personally, Effexor worked, I guess, the best of all of them. But then they quit working.
It was a battle. He had a couple times a year where he would be worse, so he'd have to tweak his medication, but he didn't realize that he was getting worse. Just everyone in the family did, and he didn't notice it. So it took his effect on the rest of the family. The kids were afraid of him because he was very verbally abusive. He never hit anyone or was that way, but he's a big man and he is very loud, and so he can be really scary.
Basically how I started on it, initially our oldest son Cody was having some serious problems, and we were very, very scared and very concerned, and we tried all kinds of things with him, and we ordered it for him initially, and then I thought I might as well try it too. And that was in July of 2006.
I think when we found something different that we were going to try again, I was afraid that all those things were going to happen again. So I was excited and happy that it might work and that it would be something new to try and that it was all natural and it made sense, but it was just scary to have to go through that again. So the reason why we started it was because the Effexor wasn't working anymore, and so we had to make a change of some sort.
I got in contact with the support people, and I started right on the maximum dose. I was on 15 a day, and just continued with that all along, and followed the instructions that was given for reducing my prescription drugs. And so I was pouring the capsules out and cutting the pile in half and quarters, and I followed it. I took that very seriously because having read, I did some research on the internet in regards to withdrawal from Effexor, and I saw that it was a very serious matter, and of course the people that with True Hope told me that as well. It's something you want to take very seriously. So I did that, and almost immediately, within 4 days, I noticed a difference right away. Deep, I just had a real sense of just a real deep wellness in my brain.
I noticed that a lot of his symptoms have been corrected with the True Hope, and things that I would just take for granted, like sitting down and reading a book for a couple hours, he could not do that. He would sit, and he always had 10 books on the go at a time because his attention span was so short that he could only read for a little bit of a time, and I'd be reading and then he'd be talking to me and I'm trying to read, but because he couldn't concentrate and he couldn't grasp it, or it wouldn't sink in, whatever the reason was, a cloudy head he had, he would be interrupting all the time. And so now it's so nice to just be able to sit together and read together and not have him interrupt when I'm trying to read. And for him to read a book and to finish the book, that's quite an accomplishment. I notice he has a lot more energy, and as far as exercise, and he's just all the way around. He's interested in losing weight, and so before I would say, oh, let's lose some weight, let's do this, and it was like, whatever. But now he's like on board, and he'll say, what should we eat that's healthy, and so it's a lot easier for all of the whole family to get healthy and to be on board. I noticed that he's just more pleasant to be around. Before I would say, oh no, Kelly's coming home from work, and so I'd try and psych myself up to handle when he'd come in the door and be crabby or whatever, because we never knew what kind of mood he was going to be in. Whereas now it's kind of like, oh, Dad's going to be home in half an hour, and so we're quite excited for him to come home. I have to say that it's truly hopeful for people that have no hope, because it works. And it's just so nice to see every day how he's getting better and better and better and better. And I know it's going to help an awful lot of people out there.
It's given our life back. We're falling in love again. My wife has got the husband back that she married 25 years ago. The relationship with my boys is deeper and better than it's ever been. It's wonderful. It's like I've been born again. It's wonderful. I can't say enough good about it. It's fantastic.